Ladies and gentlemen, I want to read you a wonderful Washington Examiner article. This came out a couple hours back. Winning the long battle, let's just say that. Ratcliffe says Durham can expand indictments after Sussman trial. John Ratcliffe is the former director of national intelligence. He occupied the same position as James Clapper. Okay, interestingly enough, James Clapper is revered among Democrats, even though he told Chuck Todd in 2017, before the Mueller probe, that there's no evidence, there's no direct evidence that Trump colluded with any country. Yet they still investigated an incoming Republican president. Think about that for a second. Imagine if an outgoing Republican administration, imagine if the Bush administration investigated President Obama, or Herbert Walker investigated Bill Clinton. Imagine that if an outgoing Republican administration had intel agencies and intel chiefs claim that the incoming Democrat was suspicious. They didn't have any evidence, but gosh, it was so suspicious they had to investigate. I mean, we don't know. We have a legitimate, we're justified. The suspicion has been, it's legitimate, and we have to investigate. Well, that's what took place. We've never had that before in American politics. And James Clapper, the director of national intelligence, was involved in coordinating a response by two other intel chiefs, Comey and the national security, the person in charge of that agency, coordinating a response or an accusation. So John Ratcliffe, under President Trump, was the director of national intelligence. The difference is that while James Clapper compiled the ODNI report, Director of National Intelligence compiled a report, and the DHS report that Comey helped compile, those two intel reports claim that Trump benefited from Facebook ads and the DNC emails, and so therefore he's complicit in some way, and they're highly to moderately confident that he should be investigated. Within the intel reports, within the actual reports that serve as the basis for this monumental fantasy and conspiratorial nonsense and hoax and bogus, completely irrational, like I said, fantasy of morally superior, wonderful, highly educated liberal Democrats. The basis is the intel reports that claim with moderate to high confidence there was never any categorical proof or evidence. They never guaranteed anything. They had warranty disclaimers. To the contrary, these reports from an outgoing Democratic administration by Clapper and Brennan and Comey, so it was the Central Intelligence, the Bureau, and the National Security, those agencies, not 17, they were wrong about everything. It wasn't 17 agencies, it was 3, and those 3 were moderate to high confidence. And when asked, Brennan said, well, I don't do evidence, I do intelligence. Okay, so you have these people who are professional liars, who, by the way, Clapper and Brennan lied under oath. Okay, that's public record knowledge. And you have them saying with high to moderate confidence that another country tried to install an incoming Republican president in Trump. Then you have a Senate panel with Richard Burr saying that, oh yeah, we confirm the high to moderate confidence assessment, which is essentially a confirmation that H.A. Goodman stated Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. Sorry if you say Bill Russell, if you say Wilt Chamberlain, if you say LeBron James, if you say Magic Johnson, if you say anyone. Sorry, the Senate panel has confirmed my assessment. Okay? If you say Dr. J, sorry. The Senate panel has confirmed my assessment, which is with high to moderate confidence that Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. If you say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, no. My assessment with high to moderate confidence has been confirmed. Notice the semantics. I mean, these Democrats, if they don't if they don't twist and utilize the most vapid and overt public relations stunts, a confirmation of an assessment is meaningless. It's a confirmation of an opinion. Okay? There's no guarantee. There's no categorical statement of fact or proof. They don't guarantee anything. They assumed that Trump was installed by another country. Now, John Ratcliffe, getting to John Ratcliffe again, it's very important because he occupied the same position in the U.S. government as James Clapper. He's expecting Durham to expand the indictments. This is an article by Daniel Chaitin, deputy news editor in the Washington Examiner. Hit subscribe to this channel. We're going to talk about this. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel and the Bitcoin Crash to 10,000 or lower channel. If you want to support my work, ladies and gentlemen, my Patreon is below in the description section. Go to the description section and you'll see my Patreon. If you want to support my work, your support is greatly appreciated, ladies and gentlemen. And become a member of this channel. And if you want to give a super thanks, the super thanks button is below next to the like and the share button. And this is a very important segment because people think that Durham lost with the Sussman acquittal. He really didn't. This article goes on to talk about exactly what I've been saying on this channel. The Robbie Mook testimony was key. The Robbie Mook testimony was the first time ever in a court of law where anyone close to both Clintons, actually testified essentially against them. Well, okay, I should say, in the past 30 years. I don't think anybody has done that with Hillary. So the first time ever in a court of law that Hillary was actually testified against, or somebody basically stated that she was the person who started everything and organized, in Robbie Mook's testimony, the media response. So spreading false stories about Trump. Notice how Democrats really don't care. By the way, I want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024. Hillary Trump 2024 or Hillary DeSantis 2024. I don't think mashed potato brains will be tough for Madam Secretary to overcome. And I think that has to happen for many reasons. I will be the happiest person on the planet when that happens, ladies and gentlemen. That has to happen for many reasons. We're living in a matrix, a dystopian world of 2016. But anyway, here, in making his point about expanded indictments, Ratcliffe said the most powerful testimony during the trial came from Robbie Mook, the campaign manager for Clinton in 2016, who said the candidate personally signed off on sharing the Trump-Russia allegations related to Alpha Bank with the media during 2016. Ratcliffe also noted testimony from Mark Elias, the top lawyer for the 2016 presidential campaign, about his role in pushing collusion, about his and her role in pushing collusion claims. Okay, so maybe there's a method to the madness. I'm not saying that it's not disappointing that an acquittal took place because obviously Sussman lied. But it's really like if Sussman gets convicted and he serves a month in jail and you don't get that testimony, it's not a win or a victory. The testimony from Robbie Mook is the first time ever, and Mark Elias, the first time ever, Clinton campaign officials pointed the finger at Madam Secretary. It's the first time ever, ladies and gentlemen. That would point to 18 U.S. Code 371. There was a concerted effort by a whole lot of people. And that's why I spent so long talking about an outgoing administration, investigating an incoming administration. That is not democracy. That is not a peaceful transition of power. Okay? What took place in January was despicable. And I condemn that. But it didn't in any way prevent the transition. Okay? What happened with Trump is that he was never given the benefit of actually being viewed as a president by half the country, because half the country, or probably less than half, believed that he was installed by another government because they couldn't believe, they were mortified and they were embarrassed, and they couldn't believe that a lifelong politician lost to a man who had a reality show and who was a billionaire and who was brash and who just decided to become a politician. See, when they say that Democrats have spent the past 6 years trying to say he's not that rich, he's not really a billionaire, he just got lucky, he was installed by another country. They can't come to terms with the fact. They can't come to terms with the fact, ladies and gentlemen, that he defeated them at their own game. At honest, Tammany Hall, honest graft, the Plunket of Tammany Hall, you can go ahead and read it. In the late 1800s, it was the same thing. You have Hunter's emails, and you had the Plunket of Tammany Hall. You had Tammany Hall politicians enriching themselves from quote-unquote honest graft, which means that they were able to utilize the system to their advantage and make money through seemingly legal methods, but when you look at it, they were very corrupt and oftentimes criminal. And so Hunter's emails to Democrats are like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's not as bad as Trump. It's like, no, it's much worse. What happened in the past 6 years is that the view of what is criminal completely changed to being correlated to one's personality. So as long as, mashed potato brains Biden or Madam Secretary or Hunter, as long as their personality or their character or their political side views them to be, not kind of, overturning the apple cart or, a big obstacle to our wonderful system, then it's okay. They can get away with pretty much anything in the eyes of the average morally superior Democrat. Even though, Trump never had emails on a laptop with corporations and billionaires asking for advice on how he could use his influence on behalf of a company. Or his kids never had that. Okay? He never boasted to the world that he was going to withhold $1 billion until a prosecutor was fired from another country. Okay? Even Zelensky stated that Trump never pressured him. So they still impeached Trump. Okay? Again, the reality is that they can't indict Trump because he didn't commit any crimes. His tax returns didn't lead to anything. They were supposed to be the holy grail of corruption. His real estate endeavors never led to any indictment. He never colluded with a foreign country. That never led to any charges. January, the Attorney General of D.C., the Mayor of D.C., never leveled any charges. They haven't indicted Trump because, guess what? He didn't commit a crime. They didn't indict Clinton, although she did commit crimes, because Democrats and Comey and Strzok and McCabe and Clapper and Brennan, all of these people were on one political side. You have Strzok saying, we'll stop Trump. And you have Comey saying, well, there's no intent to use private servers. Well, of course there was. Inherent in owning anything private, like a server that's private, is the intent to hide. That's why you own a private server. But Inspector Clouseau didn't understand that, or he's lying, which of course he is. He's smart enough to realize that. He's a director of the top law enforcement agency in the entire country. So he knows. He knows, but he didn't care. And then he wrote the Comey letter because it was a botched cover-up, and there was classified data flying around the U.S., outside the U.S. government. And at that point, he thought Clinton would win. He basically, it was a message. Comey sent a message to both Clintons, hey, I have the goods on you. That didn't work out. Comey was the one who tanked Clinton's campaign. Not Facebook ads, not the DNC emails. It was really Comey. Had he not written that letter, she might very well have won. But I was saying that Clinton was going to lose to Trump because there were too many variables. And I was one of the few people, the only person on the left saying it. I was on the left. I was the only person on the left saying it. And so, just like I said, there's going to be a stock market crash, and there was, and there is. We're seeing it in slow motion. Subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. It's on the homepage of this channel and the Bitcoin Crash channel. It's also within the description section. I have very important segments there today. Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel. John Ratcliffe. Like I said, I spent a lot of time explaining the importance of what John Ratcliffe is talking about. The testimony was the main issue. Espousing a similar point of view, Ratcliffe on Sunday asserted there was a deliberate effort by certain federal law enforcement officials to mislead the American public for political reasons. That is 18 U.S. Code 371. If John Durham wants to eventually indict people, he has a whole lot of testimony in court. And again, he probably is just he probably doesn't even care if Danchenko is indicted, even though he probably will be on one of the charges, because he wants that testimony. It's really the testimony, ladies and gentlemen. It's really it's really getting people on record, because most likely what Robbie Mook and Mark Elias stated contradicts what they stated before, what other officials within the Clinton campaign or law enforcement stated prior to the Sussman trial. So you have people inadvertently possibly changing their tune when it comes to a trial, because they either don't want to get indicted themselves or they want to cooperate, when in reality, Durham's probably playing a very long game, and he just wants to acquire as much testimony as possible for the 18 U.S. Code 371 statutes. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. Very important day today. As you can see, hit subscribe to this channel. I have more segments, obviously, later today. Actually, within 2 hours, 3 hours or so. And go to the stock market crash and the Bitcoin crash channel below.